Yeah, John Fogerty, leader of CCR, one of the great all-time bands. I've learned more from him than just about anybody on the guitar. Even some things that people thought I learned from Jimi Hendrix. Check it out. I recently saw a documentary on Netflix, Creedence Clearwater Revival at the Royal Albert Hall. Of course, John Fogerty is a great singer, but I was reminded about what a great guitar player he is as well. Song after song, he just killed it. Now, you'll never see him on any top 10 guitarist lists, but he had a great style. Very simple, yet compelling. On lead, he was the king of the chord tones, but his rhythm style was really cool too. In fact, it's how I learned the Jimi Hendrix chord technique. It was through a Fogerty song. But how? Wasn't he just a strummer? Ugh, I hate that phrase. No, actually he wasn't. And the way that he plays his chord technique is like Hendrix, only it's clearer and it's much simpler, so it's much more accessible to learn. Down on the Corner is great fun to play, but it's not quite enough to get the gist of what I'm really talking about. Instead, Lodi is the perfect vehicle to learn a chordal style of play because it uses it in a broad yet clear and transferable way. First, let's have a listen, then I'll break it down and I'll show you how you can use it in other songs as well. Now, Fogerty may have played that with a capo, but actually I think it's much more instructive without a capo because that way you can see very clearly that it works for any chord of that shape. Now let's take a look at it in slow motion and then break it down completely so we understand why it works and you can use it in different musical contexts. But that's just the lick. There's more. Now, one of the major things I took away was I didn't have to play the whole chord. I could just play pieces of it and it would sound kind of cool. For example, in going from the 1 to the 2 to the 3 chord and then back down, I don't have to play the whole chord, which would sound clunky. I could just play a little piece of it. Or and both of those sound better, especially if somebody else is strumming along. It sounds better to put that little fill in. Another thing I learned was if you played hammer-ons and pull-offs on those 2-note chords, it sounded really cool. So here's a B flat triad, the 1 chord. And here's a C minor triad, the 2 chord. And I can hammer on and pull off between them. But if I play 2-note chords, it makes it even better. Or so you can already tell it's starting to sound kind of Hendrixy, and you can take it into any key you want, like this Beatles-ish example in the key of E. So yeah, definitely learn this one. It's totally worth it. And hey, John Fogerty's solos are great to learn for the same reason. They're simple, they're fun to play, and very instructive. So click on this link because I show you a classic CCR solo that's fun to play and it's easy too. So click here. I'll see you in that video and I'll see you on down the road.